So it finished here at Meadow Park. Arsenal 1, Manchester United 1. In isolation, probably a disappointing result. You feel like, Arsenal going for the league title, they really need to win. We know that Manchester United are a very good team. They're on a very good run in the WSL. They hadn't conceded in 6 games before today. But Arsenal started the game pretty slowly. Just spoke to Jonas Eidevall, and he was asked about the kind of slow starts to games, and he said even though Arsenal had 19 players available today and in the squad, they weren't available all week. So there were quite a few players who only really joined training later in the week because of injury and illness, and some players who weren't fit to play the whole game. And he said that not having those relationships in the team and not having that kind of proper training time together meant that Arsenal were quite slow to start the game, and they struggled with Manchester United's set pieces early on, and United scored just like they did in the Conti Cup through Alessia Russo from a Katie Zullen corner. And early on Arsenal really struggled with those set pieces. They did get much better with them in the end, and I asked Jonas about that, and he said that it was probably a mixture of the whole team starting slowly because of not having those relationships, but also having a fairly unfamiliar defence out there. So he did go on to say in the press conference that he was very confident in the spring because he felt like of the teams at the top, Arsenal had the most growing to do, and that he felt like that they were the team that were probably the most likely to get better, whereas the other teams at the top, he said, were kind of closer to peak form at the moment. We'll see about that, obviously. But given that Arsenal were 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go and down to 10 players because Katie McCabe was sent off, at that point you really would have taken a draw, and Arsenal got one with a fantastic piece of quality from Vivianne Miedema. Arsenal made a little adjustment after Katie McCabe was sent off because initially I think Stina Blackstenius kind of came on one of the flanks, but when Katie was sent off, Arsenal dropped Vivianne Miedema into that number 10 role, something Jonas has talked about as an option late in games when Arsenal are chasing, and Stina Blackstenius played up front, and Miedema with a fantastic turn and first time through ball, absolutely world-class pass, just put Stina Blackstenius through on goal, and she got the equaliser on the day of her 26th birthday against the team she very nearly signed for in January instead of Arsenal. So Arsenal really gained a point given where they were in the game, but I think Jonas was right in terms of some of the relationships just aren't quite there at the moment, and that training's been quite disrupted by illness for the last couple of weeks. There's been a few COVID cases in the camp. And he was also pretty scathing about the pitch. Now, Mark Skinner mentioned this as well. He said that he felt that the pitch here at Meadow Park was a bit of an impediment to his team today. Jonas was a bit more scathing about it. Obviously, there were 2 games on this last weekend. Boreham Wood were at home, and then Arsenal played on Sunday. We had an under-23s game here last night, and this game today. So 4 games on this pitch in the period of 7 days, and it was a little bit dry and bumpy, and both managers referenced it, but Jonas was particularly scathing about it. He said that it really impacted Arsenal's game plan. He said I asked him about playing out from United's high pressure, because if you look back at the highlights of this game, all of Arsenal's chances come from playing out from the back and getting around that United press. And he said the fact that they weren't able to do that more often was a little bit down to a kind of lack of synergy in the team due to training being disrupted. But also he said the pitch was an impediment to that his team couldn't get those one-touch passing moves together. So he said, on one hand, yes, the positioning of the players wasn't quite what they wanted to be able to play that one-touch first-time football around the United press, but he also said that the pitch made that difficult as well. And I think we saw today quite a few kind of passes from both teams bouncing out of play and things like that. So he said that he felt that was down to the schedule here in January. So another big game, huge game actually, coming up on Friday night against Chelsea. Chelsea and Manchester City play one another tomorrow, and then Arsenal go to Kingsmeadow to play Chelsea on Friday night in what's really a must-not-lose game. And so really we won't know, I think, how good or bad this result is for a little while. But in isolation, Arsenal really wanted to win today. But when you're down to 10 with 10 minutes to go and you're a goal down, you take a draw, really.